Math 7, Unit 4, Percent and Proportion, Lesson 3, Part 2. The percent proportion, notes and examples. All right, in the notes on page 63, the percent proportion. It's important to remember that percents are used to standardize ratios to be per 100. So it is a proportional thing. The part over the whole equals the percent out of 100. You can represent A as P percent of W with the proportion A over W equals P over 100. Now, it is helpful to realize that there are some key words you can look for that help you understand what the part and the whole are. Generally, you'll find the word is and the word of that will help delineate the part and the whole. Now, keep in mind that you do need to use your English skills. Realizing right here in this sentence, is next to two different numbers. Is referring, in this case, to the number in front of it. Okay, let's go through some examples. Example 424. What percent of 12 is 18? We start by making our fraction equals fraction out of 100, our percent proportion. Next, we're going to start filling some things in. We've got what percent? We don't know the percent. I'll go ahead and use P for percent. Of 12 is 18. So 18 is the part, 12 is the whole, and we got to find the percent. On this one, let's go ahead and just do some cross products. P times 12 is 12P. 18 times 100 is 1800. And then we can divide both sides by 12. And P ends up equaling 150. Because it's a percent, we need to make sure we remember to put the percent symbol on it, and it is 150%. The reason we don't use move the decimal point on our percents here is because the percent was originally written in fraction form. So since the percent's written in fraction form, we don't have to move the decimal. Okay, next example. Example 425. 36 is what percent of 50? Well, 36 is the part, of 50 is the whole, and percent we don't know. Maybe I'll use a P to represent percent. We can do cross products here, but I just noticed getting from 50 to 100 is times 2. So I can do my proportional reasoning and times 2 on top too. This gives me P equals 72, and that would be 72%. If you cross multiply and solve, you will get the same answer. 35 is 20% of what number? We start with our percent proportion. Then we go ahead and do some filling in. 35 is 20%. Percents go over 100. Of what number? We don't know what the number is. Now we can solve this. Cross products, 20 times W equals 3,500. We can go ahead and divide both sides by 20. And this gives W equals 3,500 divided by 20 is 175. So the number is 175. Okay, example 427. 54 is 300% of what number? First step, let's draw our percent proportion. Fraction equals fraction out of 100. 54 is, 300 is the percent, and it's of what number? Okay, everything is set up. On this one, I could use mental math because going from the bottom to the top is 3 times bigger. So I could figure out what number when you triple, you get 54. I will go ahead and do the cross products here though. 300W equals 5,400. We can go ahead and divide by 300. And W equals 5,400 divided by 300. And you get 18. That means that 54 is 300% of 18. What number is 4% of 18? Okay, we start with writing our percent proportion. Then we're going to fill in some numbers here. What number is, we don't know the is number, 4%, that's the percent, and of 18. What number is 4% of 18? We can cross multiply here. 18 times 4 is, that's 72, it is 72. And that equals 100W. When we do the cross product the other way, we divide both sides by 100 here, and we get that W is 0.72. That means that 0.72 is 4% of 18. Okay, next example. 80% of 80 is what number? Start with my percent proportion. Fraction equals fraction out of 100. Let's fill in the numbers. We've got 80% of 80 is what number? Cross products here, 80 times 80 is 6,400. 100 times W is 100W. We can divide both sides by 100. And that gets W by itself, giving us W equals 64. So 80% of 80 is 64. Okay, a couple of example problems, or situation problems. Calvin's wage was $12.34 per hour. A good performance review qualified him for a 3% raise. What is the amount of Calvin's raise? All right, so what we are doing here, we want to know what number, what amount of money is 3% of $12.34. That is what we're trying to figure out. So, that sentence actually helps us identify what these things are. So, it is 3%, the raise. It is of his original raise, and it's going to be a certain amount. So his raise, maybe we use R for raise. His raise is going to be R. We cross multiply here. We get 100R equals 1234 times 3, 3702. We divide by 100 to get R by itself. The raise is 0.3702. Now, since this is money, we're going to need to round it to the nearest cent. 37 cents is his raise. So, how much is his raise? 37 cents. What is Calvin's wage after the 3% raise? So we need to take his old wage and add 37 cents. So we're going to take 1234 and add 37, and this gives us $12.71. So after his raise, he's now making $12.71. Another example. 45% of the student population at Lake Ridge Middle School are 7th graders. The remaining 517 students are 8th graders. How many students attend Lake Ridge Middle School? All right, so if we have all the students there, 45% are 7th grade, and the remaining 517 students are 8th grade. Now, we do need to realize that if this is 45% for 7th grade, then 8th grade is the remaining 55%. So, 55% of the students, that's 517 students. That gives us everything we need to know to set up a percent proportion. First off, 55% of the school are 8th graders. And that part of the school is 517. The whole school we don't know. That's what we're trying to figure out. So this is writing the equation based on the 8th graders, because we know the number of 8th graders and we know the percent of 8th graders. We can proportional reason our way to finding the number of students total. So we cross multiply here. 55 times the whole number of students is 51,700. So 51,700, and we're going to divide both sides by 55. And W equals 940. So the answer for this problem, how many students? 940 students. It's just 2 grades in the school, 517 eighth graders, and the remaining are 7th graders. Okay, on your practice, looks like number 1, you're going to be just calculating some percents or the missing number. Number 2 are some situation problems. You're just using the percent proportion. Remember the percent proportion's this thing. Looks like you get to do some, on number 3, you're given 3 different rates of successful free throws, and you put them in order from the highest to the lowest. On number 4, you're going to use proportional reasoning to answer some questions based on Janet, Margaret, and Keeley from number 3. Number 5, review of doing your arithmetic with fractions. Number 6, interpreting the points. Remember the point 1/2 10, it means 1/2 minutes, 10 square feet. So it looks like you can paint 10 square feet in half a minute. Number 7 is using proportional reasoning again here with a bar graph. Number 8 is a bit of a challenging problem because you're doing the percent problems without knowing specifically what the number is. We're just told the number is X.